It's Ash from SuperVideos, back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some interesting and exciting news and updates from the spin-offs that are coming. The Rick and Michonne spin-off, aka The Walking Dead Summit, and also the Negan and Maggie spin-off called Dead City. Some pretty intriguing details that were revealed about both of these, which we're going to take a look at. Particularly, we're going to focus on Negan being punished, and I'll explain what that means, and also Michonne joining the CRM. And again, I'll explain what that means. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break these down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. So let's start looking at the Michonne pictures. So these were released behind the scenes pictures of Danai Gurira, who plays Michonne, in The Walking Dead Summit with Andrew Lincoln, who of course plays Rick Grimes. We do see Michonne is wearing a CRM jacket, which is very interesting. Now, if you pay attention, this matches the exact same clothing that Rick Grimes himself had in his cameo in the final episode of the series. So it matches the outfit that Rick had. And also we can see Michonne is not the only person wearing it. There are others wearing the exact same CRM jacket. In fact, they all look pretty much the same, with the jeans, the brown CRM jacket, and also the brown boots, which is extremely interesting. Now, there's two possibilities. One is that she joined the CRM, and obviously that would mean the others who are wearing that are in her shoes, and obviously that means Rick was in the same type of position before he escaped. Or it's possible that the CRM has its prisoners, maybe a special type of prisoner, wear these types of clothing, which again lines up with what Rick was wearing, because we do know that he was imprisoned and then escaped and was recaptured. So this is definitely pointing towards Michonne also being a prisoner of CRM, just like Rick Grimes was at some point. So either that or she joined CRM, which is less likely. But these are definitely very, very interesting pictures from Danai Gurira as Michonne in the Walking Dead spin-off with Andrew Lincoln, who of course plays Rick Grimes. Next, let's focus our attention on the Negan and Maggie spin-off Dead City. We're particularly gonna talk about this new character. This character who's played by actor Jaius Charles. He plays someone named Pearly Armstrong. And what we know about him so far, before even the details came out recently, is that he will be playing a bounty hunter, which is intriguing in itself. But other details were revealed saying that he is a former marshal whose personal traumas make him cling to law and order as a coping mechanism. He's after Negan for what he did during his Savior's Day. The details are unknown. The character is associated with what is known as Babylon. Now, this is definitely interesting and intriguing, but also disappointing. And the reason why it's disappointing is that it feels unnecessary and it feels forced. It just doesn't fit, you know what I mean? Like, what are the chances that someone looking for Negan for what he did during his Savior's Day is in Manhattan, where Maggie and Negan are gonna go, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit forced, it's a little unrealistic, to be honest, but obviously the storyline itself is awesome and intriguing, especially because Maggie herself is involved, and obviously Negan is working with Maggie, so this obviously complicates things when the two meet and when their stories kind of collide. But what we also know based on the trailer is that this bounty hunter is gonna be looking for Negan. There's one scene in one of the teaser trailers where we see a wanted poster and Negan is on the poster. This definitely lines up with what was just revealed about Pearlie looking for Negan to bring him to justice and punish him for what he did during his Savior's days. Now, what is definitely super interesting is that this guy reminds me a little bit of Rick. Now, I'm not necessarily saying he's a Rick replica because that's not the case. I'm just saying because he was a marshal and we know Rick was a sheriff, and we know that just like this guy who is clinging onto law and order, Rick pretty much did that right before he left. He put Negan in prison and all of that. So that's definitely super interesting. And the other thing that makes it even more interesting is that fans of the comics will remember that Robert Kirkman, who obviously wrote the comics, came up with these fake artworks or covers for issues that were not real. And this was before he announced that one of the issues we're going to get is the final issue. So he wanted fans to think that the story is continuing, and he came up with these early covers that would get revealed to fans. And the interesting fact is that in one of them, we actually see Rick Grimes, but it's not Rick Grimes in the cover. It's actually a black character. Even at that time, I remember us talking about seeing a black Rick Grimes, which was a running joke. And obviously in this case, this is someone who reminds us a lot of Rick in some ways. And obviously he's black. So it's definitely super interesting that that whole thing kind of came together. I wonder if that was done on purpose. The other thing though, quickly, is that if you look at the scene that I just talked about with Pearlie holding the wanted poster of Negan, we can see he's in some sort of a bar. And obviously, if we look at one of the recent pictures that was released of Negan in Dead City, he's in the same exact bar. Maybe not the exact one, but it looks like it's the exact same one. So that's even more interesting. So I'm thinking maybe Negan is there when his picture is being shown around, and maybe that's going to cause him some problems. So something to think about, something interesting to kind of keep in mind. But at the end of the day, I feel like this story with someone trying to bring Negan to justice for what he did is something that Rick was trying to do before he left. And I feel like it's a little unrealistic and a stretch, and definitely forced to bring in a character who does that. You know what I mean? I feel like if you had maybe this story later on with Rick himself, it would have worked a little bit better. Maybe a situation where Rick puts a pause on kind of dealing with Negan when he sees him until they take care of what they're doing and kind of defeat the CRM, if that's the story that they're going with. And then after that story is done, they could focus their attention on Rick trying to see what's going on with Negan and bringing him to justice. Something along those lines. I feel like that would have been a better fit, and that would have worked in this story a lot smoother and better. And obviously now that they're bringing this guy in to do that, that means that the Rick stuff is probably not going to happen later because it's going to be repetitive. So it's disappointing in that regard as well. But that's pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.